We're really concerned about the future generations, myself and my husband, and we realise and recognise within the schools and within the systems and the communities that they're trying to shut down everyone's voice. And so we wanted to be here to represent our town, our family and future generations.
I think it's very important to have the proper tools and be equipped to deal with the likes of the hate speech bill that's coming in, because if they remove our ability to question the narrative and they only have a one-sided agenda and viewpoint all the time, it wrecks it for people like myself who want to maybe share another opinion, another view. It's going to ruin the arts, it's going to ruin comedy, it's going to ruin the whole kind of platform of debate in Ireland, and that's not something I'm going to be standing for.
Well, I believe it's, first of all, important to know what's going on at all times, regardless of if you agree or disagree. But I think that it's super, super important to kind of host events where you've got opposing views, but they're not us versus them, and that you're not trying to create enemies, or you're not trying to fearmonger or do those sorts of things, but just to see this is where we're at, this is where we're going if it continues, and to kind of see if that trajectory is something that I support or if it's something that I think we should be wary of. And frankly, I do think that we should be wary of it.
This event is very important, especially for us, for people who have immigrated here to Ireland. I believe that the hate speech law is what it's gonna do is that it's gonna be more anger against us, because people would be very suppressed. When you don't have freedom to express yourself, you become angry, and you become you can become even violent because you cannot express yourself. And of course I am against that. And also I would like also that my Christian values would be respected as well. So if we are talking about respecting everybody, of course they have to remember that there are people here also from Latin America that we have Christian values and we want them to be respected.
It's very important to come because of what is coming down the line with free speech and this new bill they're trying to pass in the Dáil, which is totally incrimination against the indigenous people of Ireland.
Obviously we're being silenced, particularly on the issue of children's sex education. And I've read around this subject, and the deeper you go, the more sinister it becomes.
I'm originally from Canada, and I've seen the damage that the government can do by imposing things like mandates and speech laws to its citizens. And so I think it's incredibly important to come out, support the likes of all the people that were up on the panel today, and show that us young people especially, we have a voice, and we want Ireland to be a free country, and we want to protect those rights.
Yeah, so it's just to follow on, like, we've taken a lot for granted over the last few years, and like everyone takes free speech for granted, so like definitely something that we have to protect.
I'm worried about our democracy, so I feel like we don't really live in a democratic state. The TDs don't seem to participate in the democratic decisions. They seem to be coming from elsewhere. And I feel like free speech is a cornerstone of democracy.
It's good to hear the talking points, so that when you're talking to other people, you're better able to articulate what you need to say. And this is the main reason why I brought him along.
Sure. Because I'm not as clued in on the facts and figures.
I think it's good to hear, so you're better armed.
Well, I think free speech is one of the most important fundamentals of our democracy. What we need to take into account is that it's something that is an inalienable right. It's given to us by God, and something that can never be taken away. Look, there is plenty of issues out there that I agree with on the left and all that, but at the end of the day, we have a right to speak our mind. It is essential that we have it in democracy. It can never be taken away from us. One thing that I have noticed is the very people that are enforcing this hate speech laws on us are the very people that turned around 5 years ago when Michael D. Higgins was being elected to remove the blasphemy laws. They said they did it to protect free speech. They said that they didn't want anyone prosecuted for speaking out blasphemy. So why are these people doing a total U-turn now on other issues? It's blasphemy laws all over again, so it needs to be stopped in its tracks.
Definitely over the last couple of years, the narrative has been very one-sided, so the likes of yourselves at Gript are a breath of fresh air, because not many people know who Gript are, because every household knows RTE, but that's it. Yeah, that's gone. But definitely what yourselves are doing and just giving it straight, that's what you need more of, and not just funded kind of one-sided narrative. And it's not just in Ireland; it's across the world. So
I think during COVID especially, that's when frustrations just grew in our household because we saw the narrative from the media playing out, and yet you look around your own communities and it was polar opposites, and they were instilling this kind of fear and hatred amongst each others and amongst neighbours and family members especially. So I think that really woke me up to the fact that just because you see something on the news, it doesn't mean that is necessarily the truth, and it caused me to kind of go seek my own sort of research. And like Owen said, like, we really appreciate the work that you guys do, and independent journalists and independent media outlets as well, that they're incredibly important to the freedom of speech cause.
Alternative voices are the only ones prepared to say this is terrible law. The opposition parties, Sinn Féin, are supporting this. Obviously Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, it's pushing through under Fine Gael minister. So it's a scary time in Irish lawmaking, but you know, when you see the support today, when you see the public responding and speaking to the politicians, that tells us that the public are awake and the public are not happy.